is getting comfortable. It's nice to see a beautiful room packed with lots of old faces, but also some new faces, which is interesting. I think we have our two guests to thank for that. So, I'm Nelson Medina, one of the co-organizers of CryptoMondays Barcelona. We've been organizing events here since February. We've actually AMLBot as a principal sponsor for all the time. So that's why we're quite happy to create an event for them. I also work with Gaston and Dave, who's hiding over there. And we created this to generate knowledge and connection throughout the Barcelona ecosystem. I think there are so many really cool companies, projects that are in the city, not necessarily aware of each other. And I think we have so many different parts of the industry that are already established here, including compliance, for example, we came about. So today we're gonna have two presentations, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and what they do, and we can just enjoy and have fun.
So there are two presentations today. One is about MiCA requirements for crypto business. It will be provided by me, and the second one about crypto IPO deals will be provided by Mikhail. One organizational question: do you hear me very well, or should I take a microphone? Because it's a small room, and I think I can talk without microphone. All good. Okay. Okay. So then let's start. How many of you have heard or maybe dive into MiCA and what it is? I just want to understand. So, okay, at least half or more than half of the people. I will try to make this presentation as practical as possible based on my previous experience working in a law firm and helping companies to apply for crypto licenses. There are still not all the details are clear. There are secondary regulations that are working on at the moment that will complete MiCA, but I will tell you what we have at the moment. Me, I am Niko Demchuk. I am representing AMLBot. It's a one-stop solution for compliance. We do KYC, KYT, and I have around 10 years of experience, half of it in a law firm in Estonia. Then I was working as an AML auditor in Luxembourg, auditing big banks and investment funds. But my dream was always to be in-house lawyer for a fintech startup, so I joined Bitstamp, the biggest European crypto exchange, and now I am at AMLBot. So our agenda for today, I will talk to you who will be affected by MiCA, I will tell you, then how the process is, transition process from those who are already licensed in European Union as a VASP, virtual asset service provider, how will this transformation process will look like into MiCA license. Then it will be maybe a bit boring part about application requirements. Some other specific requirements, I will also try to provide you some data and application review timeline. So then let's start. So this presentation will not take into consideration requirements that are related to stable coins, okay? E-money tokens and asset reference tokens that are defined in the MiCA, because it's a whole different range of requirements which are very different, for example, from those who are provided in simple or from on-ramp solutions or operating crypto platforms. So that's important to note here. So what is MiCA? Yeah? MiCA is a regulation. And in the European Union, we have two types of regulation. One is a regulation, another one is a directive. Directive sets a goal, and then each country decides how they will achieve this goal. And at the moment, crypto services in the European Union are regulated by the European Directive, Anti-Money Laundering Directive. That's why we have a fragmented regulation in the European Union. Depending on the country you will pick, you will have different sets of rules you will need to apply to get the WASP license or the WASP registration. With MiCA regulations, these rules will be homogeneous, similar, regardless which country you will pick as starting your business, whether it's Spain or Poland, these rules will be similar. That also brings us to another point, that at the moment, once, for example, you have WASP registration in Poland, you can provide services only to Polish market. You cannot provide service to another European member states, Spain, France. You will need also to get the VASP registration there. With those who will be licensed by MiCA regulation, they can passport their license. It's the same as it is now done by e-money license companies, neobanks like Wise, like Revolut, etc. They receive an e-money license, for example, in Lithuania, and they just notify regulatory authorities in another member state, and that's how they can easily provide the services there without receiving any kind of permission or regulation. So same will happen with MiCA, and it's a big step forward because, again, based on my experience working in a Bitstamp, we were applying for a different VASP registration in France, in Spain, in Germany, in the Netherlands, and it's first of all money. Second, resources, time resources. You will need to spend time to figure out what are the requirements there, what are the requirements in another country, etc. Now, you just choose one country, you apply for a MiCA license there, and you easily passport your services to another European economic area, which is European Union, and plus for other European states. And of course, MiCA provides better consumer and investor protection. So who will be affected by MiCA? Of course, all companies that are registered in the European Economic Area and companies that are outside of European Economic Area, but who wants to serve European residents, okay? We have one simple exception from this rule, that it is possible when a company outside of European Union can still serve European Union resident without applying for a MiCA if it's made on the reverse solicitation basis. Anyone know what does it mean? Yeah, okay. So what does it mean? It means that the user or the customer comes and asks for the services from their own initiative. Basically what it means in online services, you don't do any marketing to European Union. That's what does it mean. If you are about to do any marketing, I don't know, ads, billboards, etc., it will mean that you are actually focusing on target European markets, and then you will need to apply for a MiCA license. There are also many exceptions how you need to do it. There is a special also second level regulation about it, but there is only one exception how you can do it. But basically, everyone will be affected by MiCA. So how this actually period, this transformative period from those who are already licensed, there are many companies who received VASP registration in the European Union, will look like into MiCA license. First one, different level of preparation. What does it mean? It means that, as I said before, the regulation of crypto services are fragmented in the European Union. And for example, Poland, it's very popular jurisdiction right now among crypto business. Everyone wants to go there and receive VASP registrations there. Why? Because it's very easy. It can take you 2 weeks. Everything will be provided by your consulting company. You will pick just a template procedure for AML policy, basically information about the company, and you will receive your VASP registration. Easy. But there is also countries like France, like Spain, like Estonia, where to receive VASP registration now is really difficult. It's like the same as to receive an e-money license, those who are providing kind of neobanks services. So of course, those who are licensed or who have VASP registration in France, in Spain, in Germany, in Estonia will be much better prepared for MiCA license, and they will need to do much less than those who have VASP registration in Poland, in Portugal, in Czechia, etc. Different level of supervision, or no supervision, as I say. Again, it also stems from the first one, and it also depends who regulates crypto services now. There are two types of regulatory authority. There is the one that issue licenses for banks, for e-money institutions, for investment funds. Usually it's a central bank of Lithuania or it's a financial inspection of Estonia, etc. And if a company regulated now, there's a VASP registration by this authority, of course, this authority already know the business, and for them it will be much easier to transform their VASP registration into MiCA license. But there are many countries that are at the moment actually under their authority these crypto services. For example, in Estonia, so there is a financial inspection that issue licenses for banks and for credit institutions, for investment funds, and they are not regulating crypto asset providers. It's regulated by the unit in the police, which is called Financial Intelligence Unit. They are the one who issues this VASP registration. That's why it's even not a license, it's called registration, if to be like legally correct. And of course, they do not have that capacity, especially when it was a boom of crypto licenses in Spain, in Estonia, sorry. I was working there as a lawyer. And at some point of time, Estonia issued around like 3,000 licenses, crypto licenses for such a small country. Do you think just Estonia is a small country, it's only around 1 million people live there. And of course, the Financial Intelligence Unit, I don't know how many people work there, but it was not technically possible to actually screen every application, review every application, etc. Okay, let's go to a third point, different transitional period, which is called a grandfathering period or grace period. So what does it mean? MiCA will come into force from the 30th of December this year, but it will not mean that those who are licensed by VASP registration will need to be compliant by that day. No, that will be some transitional period where even when the MiCA in force, you have the right not to be compliant by, but some deadline in the future. And MiCA gives this opportunity to countries to decide by themselves what it could be, but the maximum that it could be just 18 months. And the next slide, I will show you different approaches of different countries, how actually they decided to put this deadline. So again, the VASP registration that now has many companies, they will not have the same protection for investors. They will not give you the access to another European member states, even if the MiCA enforced. You will have this only when you will receive MiCA license, not when you have a VASP registration. So then let's look about this transitional period. For example, Germany decided to give only 1 year, so the maximum is 18 months. Germany went for 12 months, but as I see, most of the countries actually decided to give only 6 months transitional period. Poland, Netherlands, Lithuania have it only by the 1st of July 2025, when you are either compliant and you will receive MiCA license, or you will need to cease your business and stop providing your services. Okay, let's move on about application requirements. So what are those? First of all, you will need to have a real physical substance in the European Union. Again, it's different now in different countries. Some already require this, for example, Spain, Italy, and some, like Poland, does not require this. You can have a virtual office, and that's how you manage your requirements to be present in the country. But with MiCA now, you need to have a real physical office and the proof of it. Also, the director needs to reside in the European Union. It's one of the requirements. Of course, you need to provide information about the company, about the services. You will need also to provide information how you will do your marketing and to whom you will market your services. Description of your applicant's governance arrangements, how it's done inside your company, who takes the decision. Also, directors and UBOs, ultimate beneficial owners of the companies, will be screened, which means that there will be a test for fit and proper test. They will need to have skills, they will need to have knowledge, they will not need to have any criminal liabilities in the past. It will be screened very well, so they are actually able to be a directors of the UBOs of such crypto business. From my point of view, one of the most difficult requirements to comply with would be the internal policies and procedures which are related to anti-money laundering. They will be screened very well by the regulatory authorities because basically that's the biggest risks that such kind of business have. So then how you do your onboarding process, how you screen your cryptocurrency, how you comply with the travel rule, which is another headache right now for crypto business. It will be screened very well, checked, and actually not only on paper, but maybe they will go even deeper, regulatory authorities. Also, technical documentation about the ICT systems you have, procedure how you segregate the client's funds from your own clients, so we will avoid situations that we have with FTX case. Yes. How you handle the complaints procedure, so it should be the official procedure how your users can complain about your services. Description about if you have a trading platform, what are the sets of rules. If you provide custody services, what are those sets of rules for your custody and administration policy. If you do exchange, please provide a commercial policy, how this price for the exchange is made up, what are your fees, what are the price for the crypto assets, what is spread, etc. Another obligation that every crypto business will have is to act honestly, fairly, and professionally. So what does it mean? It means that if there is a crypto platform, users need to have access to each white paper of the crypto assets. Also, of course, the policy how you actually generate the price for the exchange needs to be also public. So each user needs to know for what he's paying. And even one is the most interesting one for me, which related to kind of sustainability and climate change, that you need also to test, especially if you are the one who is issuing crypto assets, or if you have a crypto platform and you offer services in crypto assets, then you need to actually also test what is the impact on the climate and provide this information to the users. I mean, if it's about mining, it's about transaction verification, etc. White paper requirements. So I don't know how many of you are aware, 2017, 2019, it was the years of ICO. Anyone remembers this?
Of course.
Yeah.
It was unforgettable.
Yeah. Yeah, and every ICO, it was not a requirement, yes, but it was a market practice. So everyone who was about to issue its own tokens will need to also provide white papers. And me working as a lawyer, we received many white papers and we were analyzing them to understand what kind of tokens the business will issue, whether it's a utility token, it's a security token, or it's a payment token, etc. Because then the type of regulations they will need to comply with would be different. So now it's becoming a requirement. So it's not only a market practice. Those who will be issuing its own tokens or platforms, that crypto platforms, will need to, first of all, provide to its customers information about each of the crypto assets white paper. And also, we'll need to send to the regulatory authorities information that this is a crypto asset that is not a security, because there's a different type of regulation that the business need to comply with, which is the MiFID directive and securities laws of each country, which is also not the e-money token or asset reference token. And there's the question, and so what it should be? Most probably it would be the legal opinion. So more works for lawyers and more hurdles and more problems for the businesses because they'll need to spend money on it. Okay, we are coming to prudential requirements. So there is a share capital requirement. Depending on the type of services you will provide, you see you have only 3 types, whether it's the 50,000, whether it is 125,000 euros or 150,000 euros. So there are 10 different services under MiCA. Depending on what kind of services you provide, you will have different share capital requirement. Besides MiCA, what is more interesting and why it's not only about MiCA, the business that will need also to comply with other sets of rules, and the MiCA also has a reference to it. So we will have anti-money laundering regulation in the European Union, also starting from the next year, or 2026, if I'm not mistaken. It's also a big plus. Again, anti-money laundering regulation in Europe is very fragmented. Based on my experience working in Bitstamp that provides services for many European member states, every time you will need to do a gap analysis, meaning you will need to study the AML law of Italy, AML law of the Netherlands, AML law of France, and then you will need to set up your KYC process, onboarding process based on that law. So basically, it's very difficult to find this unified onboarding process for European Union because the laws are different, and then you will need, depending on the country, have a different sets of rules, which is again maybe what something makes Europe less competitive related to the US, because the sets of rules are same in the US. And but these problems might be solved with a new anti-money laundering regulation, because by this time we only had directives. So now we will have regulation, and this regulation will also focus on crypto asset service providers. So I hope this will also solve these fragmented problems of how to comply with AML rules. But at the same time, we will also have new 6 AML directive, and I think still local AML law will need to be taken into consideration. Transfer of funds regulation is already in place, is already a requirement, but not for crypto asset service provider. It will be applicable, it will come into force from the new year, 2025, and basically it's about travel rule. Does anyone know what is travel rule? Only 2 people. Okay. So, but for sure you know about SWIFT, correct? So what is SWIFT? Maybe anyone can tell me.
Bank message.
Yeah, it's
bank, send money using SWIFT.
Yeah, it's a messaging system. Yeah, it's a messaging system. So what the message is about? It's about the beneficiary of the transfer and about the recipient of the transfer. And it's good for banks and for this traditional financial system because they agreed on one messaging system. It's accepted worldwide, and you just need to connect to it, and you can easily make transfers. It's not the case in the crypto world, unfortunately, as of now. So basically, this set of rules, travel rule, now will be applicable from new year to crypto asset service providers. They will also need to exchange this information about the beneficiary and the recipient of the transfer. But at the moment, there is no one unified provider of it. There are many companies who provide such a solution. And there is still not a unified protocol if you are a client of this travel rule solution and another business, a client of a different travel rule solutions, you cannot still exchange information. So in order to exchange it, they both need to be a client of the one travel rule solutions. And there are many on the market. There are also other problems with travel rules. Sunrise issue, some countries has it as a requirement, but some countries still don't have it, like Latin America, some Asian states. So then the transfer between European, those who are licensed by MiCA, and those who are licensed in another, for example, Latin America country will not be possible because they just don't need to comply with this rule. So they will not have any possibility to do it. DORA, Digital Operation Resilience Act, basically it's all about outsourcing because many businesses now outsource part of their functions to another businesses. So how you manage this? It's all about ICT, yes. How you manage cybersecurity risks, how you manage when you will be under attack, what you will do when some of your providers will stop providing the services, how you quickly switch to another one. This is also a new requirement in the European Union, also the one that is hot one, because many still have no idea how to comply with it. And of course, GDPR, about data protection, how you protect personal data of the users. And now I wanted to do something interesting for you, and not only text, but also some numbers. So at the moment, I made these numbers, I think, around 2 weeks ago. These are the VASP registration in different countries, okay? So we have Estonia 45. And I remember in 2020, it was around 3 or 2,000 and a half. Now it's only 45 VASP registration. In Lithuania, it's around 800 VASP registration issued. Poland, which is the most popular right now, 1,500 VASP registration issued. So there are businesses that provide crypto asset services. And Czechia is another popular country, around 1,000. Why? Because it's, I think, the easiest one to receive the license, VASP registration. Basically, no one checks you anything. You just need to tell that you will provide such services. It will be added in the registry, and that's it. So, based on my experience, and based also especially on Estonia, and how Estonia managed from 2,000 license went to only 45. I can tell you a story. When I was in Estonia, I was also visiting different events, and so there are two regulatory authorities. Yes, there is one police unit who is still issuing this VASP registration, and the financial inspection, the one who is more serious, the one who issues licenses for credit institutions, for investment, for insurance, etc. They were always the one who were like complaining and telling it's a big risk that Estonia did not have at that point of time strict requirements of crypto businesses, because it was easy to receive. Estonia is a digital state. So it was possible, even for example, being in India, you can apply for e-residency. Estonia has e-residency cards. You can apply for, in the consulate, online e-residency, receive it on your post in India. This e-residency card gives you access to public registers of Estonia. You can easily open your company with this e-residency and apply for crypto VASP registrations with this e-residency. So you can open a company, receive VASP registration, never been to Estonia. And of course, it was a big risk. So that's why financial inspections are always saying it's a big risk that you will bring money laundering into our countries, because crypto assets are also one of the ways to launder money. They're always the one complaining, and they're always the one who actually lobbying more stricter requirements for crypto businesses. And Estonia did it. They were making changes almost every year, and now their requirements might be even stricter than the MiCA's one at some point. So that's why there is only 45 companies that still manage to remain with their VASP registration and provide the services. The other one just lost their registrations. So based on this experience, my predictions would be, remember these numbers, I think that Estonia, since it's already very good regulated, will not lose so much, but Lithuania, Poland, and Czechia, I think will lose around 75% of those VASP registrations that I have at the moment, maybe even more. Because the requirements, as you saw before, are very strict one. It would be difficult to comply. First of all, it's big financial resources you will need to spend, depending, of course, on the country. I checked, for example, in Czechia, yes, the lawyers said that it will cost around 80k euros only for them to prepare your application for the MiCA license. I'm sure in countries like Germany, France, Spain would be much more expensive. Plus, you will also need to have resources. Now, you can be one-man company, you can open a business in Poland, and you can provide the services. It will not be a case anymore, of course, because if you want only 2 or 3 people, you cannot manage all the processes of AML, KYC, of data protection, and any other requirements you will need to comply with. So I think around 70–75% those who are currently registered as crypto service providers will lose their registration or will not be able to comply with MiCA requirements and will need to look for another jurisdictions. And the last slide for today is about timeline for MiCA license. So it will, if everything is perfect, it will take 3.5 months for a company to get a MiCA license. But nothing is perfect, based on my experience. There's always additional questions from the regulatory authority. So depending on the country and how fast the regulatory authority in the country, it might be 6 months, 1 year, or even more. So, conclusion, if I would be the one who would give a recommendation about MiCA license, first of all, is about AML. So think about this, how you set up your AML internal processes, how you manage them, how effective they are, etc. It's about KYC, travel rule. If you have any questions, you can contact us, because actually AML is about KYC, is about KYT, is about compliance solutions for any kind of business, including crypto business. And there's not much time left, basically, so start actually preparing for a MiCA now. And if you, we'll give you a good bonus, if you will use this QR code and register at our website, you will receive 5 free KYT checks, so you can check your crypto wallet or crypto transaction on AML risk. What is the source of the crypto assets? So please, if you want, use this QR code, and tomorrow we will see who will be registered by tomorrow. We will add to your cabinet 5 free KYT checks. Basically, that brings me to the end, and I'm open to your questions.
I'm still a little confused about what's the specific space of what type of business that is going to fall under this MiCA. For example, it's clear for cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a lot of, let's say, NFT in the event in which you get NFTs and you're not paying for the NFTs. You are getting it for a certain reason. Or sometimes you are buying, or sometimes you are investing into real world assets. This is not necessarily crypto. So could you please define what's the specific in which a business will fall under this MiCA regulation?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And about NFT, just to answer your question, NFT is out of scope of MiCA, so it's not regulated.
Even if you go to OpenSea and you buy, and that will eventually raise the price and you will get a gain, that is out of the scope.
Yes, if it's real NFT, unique one, it's not regulated. But if NFT is just a series of NFTs that are same, then it will be considered to be as a crypto assets, and then it will be regulated. So in MiCA there is very clear 10 types of services that will be regulated, very clearly stated. Those who are doing crypto exchange, those who are providing custodian services, those who are providing crypto trading platforms, those who are providing or who are facilitating transfers, crypto transfers on behalf of others, even those who provide advice on crypto assets, not even some technical stuff, but also advice would be also will also need to receive a MiCA license. So these are type of services which are very clearly defined in MiCA that will be regulated. Yeah.
Thank you, great speech. For everybody else, we're already clients of AMLBot and their services, which I also recommend. I have 3 questions. First one is, everything you said applies only to businesses that serve retail customers, right? Because if you have informed or professional investors, then this doesn't apply, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. I mean, it's not a legal advice. Of course, every time you need to dive into the business model you are providing. But if you provide your crypto asset service, for example, portfolio management for business, it will be regulated by MiCA and you will need to receive. There will be exception, for example, when it comes to e-money tokens or when it comes to investment services. If you are already licensed by e-money license or if you are already licensed as an investment fund, you will be exempted from MiCA because you are already licensed, you are already professional to provide such a service.
Second, you mentioned countries that are out of the European Union. Switzerland is out, but I know sometimes it has some special statuses because, well, it's Switzerland. Do you know where it falls in this new MiCA?
Correct. So MiCA is about European Economic Area, so it's European Union, and plus, if I'm not mistaken, states like Iceland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Switzerland.
And the,
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, third one. Do you think there is, like, I completely agree with like 75% drop down in companies that will have it, but do you think, for example, new companies will actually manage to do it, for example, here in Spain or other countries? Because some of these regulations, usually there's actually no one that manages to get the license, and it's kind of ghost regulations in the end.
True. It might be a case, and there is already a lot of talks that, for example, to receive a MiCA license for asset reference tokens would be almost impossible because of the very strict requirements. But about MiCA, I still think it will be possible, but it will be very difficult, which on the one hand will impact on some kind of innovation or those that is very easy to do now for crypto businesses, so they will be more flexible because they can easily set up a company, apply for VASP registration, etc. But on the other hand, it brings a lot of risks. Estonia, for example, and when financial inspection of Estonia were always pointing out on the risk of money laundering, it actually went to this risk because there were many companies who were licensed in Estonia, for example, Garantex, that were sanctioned by OFAC, US authority, because they were facilitating money laundering, receiving money from dark market, etc. So they were right. If there are many VASP registration issued, for example, in Poland, there might not be sufficient amount of people who will be really reviewing the application, really screening the directors and UBO, really diving into internal processes of AML KYC, not only on paper, so you can write down everything very nicely, but also how you actually execute it. It's not really well checked at the moment. With MiCA, it will be checked, and it will, as I said, there are two meanings. So, yeah.
I wanted to ask, the crypto asset exchanges that are registered in Europe, when MiCA's fully in, like 2026 or whatever, will they be able to sell crypto assets that are not MiCA compliant if they're registered in Europe?
You mean if those who have a MiCA license, will then be possible to serve clients outside of the European Union? For example,
No,
if
if
some...
a crypto exchange registered in Europe,
Yeah.
Lithuania, for example, with European clients, will they be able to list cryptos that are not MiCA compliant?
No, of course.
No.
If there is someone who issues crypto assets and wants to make available these crypto assets to European market, they will need to be compliant with MiCA.
So any kind of crypto token that's to be sold in Europe when MiCA's in, they have to have a physical location and a director based in Europe.
Yeah, that was
Really?
because they are serving European markets, European residents. That's a problem right now. Okay, we did not touch this problem again with stablecoins, correct? As you see, if you are clients of Binance, etc., they will make almost impossible most of the services in USDT, etc., because they are not licensed in the European Union. They will be only possible to do with those that are licensed. At the moment, it's Circle that issued USDC and Euro coins. Yeah.
Do you see any benefit that MiCA can bring to business? So there is passporting, obviously, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What other benefits it actually can bring?
Yeah, sure. So the first one is about the set of rules will be similar regardless the country that you pick. So if you decide to pick Spain or Estonia or Poland, the rules are the same one. It brings us to this passportable. So once you receive a license, you can provide services to another European Economic Area states. Better consumer protection, better investor protections. Now sometimes it's difficult to make complaints, to get a refund, etc. With MiCA, it will be much well managed. So there are pluses, of course.
Yeah, I was wondering, how do you see the regulatory environment in Europe evolving for purely on-chain products like DEXs or perp DEXs that usually do no AML or KYC at all?
You mean tax related?
Like on-chain products, like for example Uniswap or GMX or any perp DEX.
You mean DeFi protocols, DeFi sector?
Protocols that are like entirely on-chain that don't do custody of funds because it's
Still like exchanges.
contracts and all.
Yeah, let's put the DeFi, okay, DeFi sector. I I think you're talking about the DeFi sector.
Yeah.
And there's not a central regulatory authority, a central company who manage all of this. It's decentralized.
Like purely DeFi products.
Yeah, it's not regulated at the moment anywhere in the world.
Do you see like an evolution in the future?
Yeah, there are already different initiatives of different countries. They are right now learning about DeFi, what it is, how it affects the financial markets. And I'm sure we will see new laws on DeFi as well. For example, if I'm not mistaken, in UK, they are learning about crypto staking and taxes on crypto staking and crypto loans. In US, they also learning about DeFi and how they can impose AML requirements on DeFi, because of course now those who want to launder money, they will go to DeFi to do some exchanges to different cryptocurrencies, because centralized crypto exchanges are very well right now regulated, so they have very good processes in place to actually prevent this. So yes, I think we will see also some kind of regulations for DeFi in the future.
Can I have a question more about AMLBot, but related to MiCA? We are currently using your bot when we're accepting cryptocurrency from clients. And AMLBot right now gives only, how better say, qualification of the cryptocurrency. It doesn't say, can we allow it? Is it legal to accept it or not? And our biggest problem right now is that you can have a very low risk, like 30%, 40% cryptocurrency, but it still can be blocked on a crypto exchange because it has like a small percentage, maybe 1% of stolen coins, maybe 0.5% of some coins. Does MiCA give any good guidelines about what exactly AML and how we can accept it? Because right now there is a big problem that sometimes we're receiving cryptocurrency from exchanges which using your service said it has problem, but it comes from the exchange. And it's our responsibility as operator. Every time I need to make a decision, should I accept it or not? And there are no any guidelines. Will MiCA help us with that or not?
Unfortunately not. I get your question. I get your question. So it's not that AMLBot or any other blockchain analytic companies will need to tell you, is it okay or not okay? So we're just software company. We just provide what we see on the blockchain, the source of your crypto assets, and if there are any risks. If you are to accept it or not, it's totally your decision. There are also different providers of those blockchain analytics companies, and the risk score or their results might be different. So if one crypto exchange uses one provider and another one, their results might be different. That's why big crypto businesses actually use 2 or even 3 different blockchain analytics company providers just to be sure that there are no risks. It's a big problem. Of course, it will be much easier if you have a clear guidelines. For example, this percentage is not okay, this is okay, and you can work with this, but at the moment, it's not. It's on a risk-based approach. You need to take into consideration not only the results of the KYC checks, but also the results of the KYC checks you have on your customers, his behavior, etc., to go to come into some conclusion.
How will MiCA affect platforms like Pump.fun?
I'm sorry?
How will MiCA affect platforms like Pump.fun?
You mean like meme coins?
Yeah, basically. Like what? Pump.fun.
So, okay, so if those who provide such type of services, providing one of the 10 very clearly listed services that is in MiCA, then they will need to comply with MiCA and have all the processes in place.
But they sell crypto assets, evidently.
Yeah, so then they will need to comply with MiCA.
So going back to like the question that somebody had, where you could, like an exchange could list an asset that was not MiCA compliant, does that mean like that the companies abiding by the MiCA rules won't be able to like list meme coins unless they're...
Yep, correct. Correct. If you are issuer of the coin and you want to make your coin available in the European Union market, you will need to comply with the rules that is in European Union market. Unless...
If you target them.
Yes. Yeah.
You're just like...
If you are just somewhere in Turkey and
platform somewhere, you're not putting advertisements,
yes.
like you do.
Yes. If I somehow find out about the crypto business in Turkey and I come to them and I ask for a service, they can provide me this service. Yeah. only this service. They cannot offer me any other service. They can provide me only this service on this period of time that is available and not more. So there are really strict requirements. That's why I think this will not be actually enforceable, or it will be really difficult to actually comply with this reverse solicitation exception in life.
So I thought it was just a rule, like for example, if you take a platform like Pump.com, it exists, right? It's already there. People know it. And if a European person goes and uses them, you know, it's not like they look for the European person. The person came and used them. Would that be enough to be like, yeah, we're not doing conferences in Europe, we're not doing advertisements, they just came to us. So
it is possible. I would say it is possible. Yes.
The thing is that the burden of proving reverse solicitation is on the platform, and it's very hard to prove that it actually took place.
Yeah, you can't prove the negative, so that's going to be a...
You have to prove that they came to you first and not the opposite. Like, right, for example, for investment funds, it's exactly the same. So you have to have, like, for example, an email or whatever from the investor, and you have to be able to prove that you didn't contact them first in any way.
But you can't prove that.
You have to.
No,
You can do anything else.
No.
Like you can't prove that you haven't communicated with somebody.
In our case, you can. We have a shop here in Barcelona, so I cannot advertise in Poland. But if the Polish person comes here to my shop, I can service him.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. But he's saying that you have to prove that you haven't solicited the person. But you can't prove that. You can just tell them, look, there's no proof that I had, obviously, but I cannot prove to you that I never went into the shady alley in the guy's street. Like, I can't prove that I haven't done that.
That's the gray zone for reverse solicitation. Like, if I talk to you right now, I tell you about my service, and then you send me the email asking me about my funds, then it's okay. Because they cannot prove that we told before. But that's the gray zone.
Yeah. So my point was like, because for an investment fund, right, you communicate a lot by email. But if you're a platform that exists and you make sure, you know, to not have any formal presence, then I guess, you know, it would be possible, because there's a lot of platforms internationally that just exist. It would be complicated if suddenly, you know, we kind of like have the same problem as the Americans, like they don't serve European, because as soon as they serve us, they go under regulation. And that would be a huge limitation.
As we consulted with our lawyers, they look at, I cannot advertise in other countries. So if they see my advertisement specifically targeted to another country, then they can see.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's not only.
We don't do that.
It's not only about advertisement. For example, if your language of your website would be one of the languages of the European Union, it would be considered also as a target in some clients. And then we have also problems that many Latin Americans speak Spanish. But it's a difficult, as I said, it's a difficult question. So it will not be that easy as it might seem to. There is a secondary level regulation that are now working on by the European central authorities that will give more details on it. But I am familiar with this, and it will be really strict to provide it. Okay. I take one last question, okay, and then we move to the further.
Thank you. Bringing up this, like, the users, where the user is located, really important. So from like a marketing point of view, let's just say like a company, crypto project has an idea, they're looking for Series A funding, but they're not MiCA compliant yet because they're writing a white paper, they're getting the project going, yeah? But then they're looking for Series A funding. So for example, we all use LinkedIn, it's a global network. Could you just like, what would be the result if we just plug in here, hey, I found this project, they're looking at raising funds so they can build the project, you know, it's early stage. Could you just post that into LinkedIn, knowing it's got a global reach? But then say, would you have to put like, this is not for European users because it's not MiCA compliant, or it's early stage and they need money to like go through care? Like, how is that going to work?
Okay, it's a very detailed question. I cannot answer it at the moment. As I said, there are still really strict rules being worked on at the moment, so I cannot give you advice if it will be okay or not, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at that in relation to venture funds previously, and as long as you're not promoting what you're doing, you're okay, right? So, you know, you can put stuff on social media, you can have a Telegram channel, you know, you can have articles in Cointelegraph just talking about what you're doing. right? And then if someone chooses to go and look at what they're doing, then that's not your call. But you just need to make sure you're not kind of actively kind of encouraging them to come and try and be a customer. You know, it's how you get that working things. Yeah. Media is global, isn't it?
I see reverse solicitation basis gets a lot of attention, so maybe the second one would be about this at CryptoMondays. Okay, thank you for your attention. I think I'm done with the presentation for today. And I give floor to Mikhail.